Am I the a-hole for not giving my possibly pregnant baby daddy's girlfriend his contact after she threatened to break apart my family? Current living situation. I, 39 female, live in a house with Tom, 40 male, Ben, 43 male, and our 5 children. 12 male, 11 male, bio Tom and mine. 10 female, 8 female, bio Ben's and his late wife Anna. 7 female, bio Ben and mine. Ben and I work. Tom's been a stay-at-home dad since 11 male was 2. He went back to school 4 years ago. Ben and I cover all household expenses, including any costs for Tom's education. Background. Tom and I met at a party when we were 19. We've been friends ever since. With benefits at times, we were both single. While on a holiday together, a condom broke on us. Due to location, emergency contraception wasn't available, and when I turned out to be pregnant, we chose to keep that kid and moved in together. We were never a couple, but worked great as a family. So we decided to have a second kid. Anna was my childhood best friend. She and Ben moved into the flat downstairs from ours when she was pregnant with 10 female. I loved having her close again after living in different cities for years. Sadly, she passed away after a very complicated second labor. Ben and I found solace in each other and I ended up pregnant. I didn't notice right away as my method of contraception should have been safe, and I also blamed a lot of the symptoms on grief and guilt. So when I found out there wasn't really an alternative anymore, Tom was the first one I told. He said he'd welcome another child into our family. Ben was shocked and really struggled to accept it, but we kept in good contact through all of it. We all started having dinner most nights after 7 female was born. 10 female and 8 female would already spend the day as Tom was their nanny. A couple of years later, my grandma moved on to retirement home and Tom and I decided to move to her house. Ben asked if he could move in with us and we agreed. It's maybe unusual but works for us. Where I might be the a-hole. Tom been with Bea for the last 3 years. There was some talk about him asking her to move in about a year ago, but he never did. Bea and I get along. Not best friends, but I like spending time with her. Well, liked. She showed up unannounced 3 days ago and demanded to see Tom. He's currently on a skiing trip with Ben and the boys. I reminded her of that and then said, I will tell him to contact her if there's an emergency. She then proceeds to tell me that she is pregnant with Tom's child, highly unlikely, and that she already talked to his parents and they will buy them a house next to theirs so that they can live there as a family, and that they will be taking the boys with them. That's when I told her to leave, which after some yelling and insults she did. I've since been called multiple times by her best friend and Tom's parents to try and get his contact, but I'm still refusing to give it away. They've been calling me an a-hole, among other names, for not letting him know that. 1. Bea is pregnant. 2. He doesn't need to be abused and exploited anymore. OP edited post to add. 1. Tom's had a vasectomy after 11 male. 2. He's very low contact with his parents as they disapprove of me and our overall living arrangements. Relevant comments. For this long a post, there's a lot of information missing. While you explain the living situation, that does not explain the relationship situation. You also fail to mention why his parents would not be on your side and why they think he is being abused. I can speculate, but it doesn't paint a pretty picture and we all know what happens when we assume. Could you explain the relationships and Tom's parents' position? Opie. Sorry, word count made it impossible to include more info. The kids consider all of us their parents. They call me mum. Tom and Ben are dad A and dad B. Tom and I kept the relationship we always had. Obviously currently without benefits, as he's with Bea Ben and I never dated. We found comfort in each other after in a past, but it was more a mutual feeling of wanting to feel close to her. That stopped as soon as we knew I was pregnant. We are friends now and have been for years. He's been dating someone seriously for the last 4 years that he met through grief counseling. She's great. Tom and Ben were friends the moment they met. Tom's parents never liked me. Mind, the first time I met them, I was helping Tom study for his finals. His study buddy turned girlfriend 6 months beforehand and then left him 4 weeks before the final. He was a mess and had never not studied for any exam without her. I was meant to go to Colombia for an internship and wanted to go there early to travel around. I cancelled that to go to Tom's place every day instead and go through flip cards I knew nothing about for 4 weeks straight. His parents came for a surprise visit and weren't happy to meet me as I was there to distract him. They later on never approved of our family, stating multiple times how it is wrong for Tom to be with someone who doesn't want to marry him. It only got worse when I got pregnant with Ben's child and we later all moved in together. They have offered multiple times before to free Tom from us and have him and the boys move closer so that he doesn't get abused for free childcare for kids that aren't his. They had been less vocal about it the last couple of years though. Opie answers question about Tom potentially leaving with no money or being paid for his services like a nanny. Tom used to work as a lawyer but hated his job. He didn't know what he wanted to do after school, and his parents convinced him to go to law school. He went back to school and wants to be a child psychologist. He's about 2 to 3 years away from being able to work in his new profession. We are currently splitting Ben and my incomes 4 ways. A big part goes into household expenses, including Tom's education. The remainder gets split equal ways between the 3 of us to do as we please. We do have a prenup that covers custody and financial support in case one of us moves out, as well as wills to make sure all our assets get split eventually between all kids. Whatever, and a left will do to 10 female and 8 female when they turn 18. Could Tom have had a reversal? I honestly would have a hard time believing that even he told me himself. I trust that he would have at least given me a heads up. Why doesn't Bea live with them? Tom asked us about a year ago if Bea could move in. Ben and I agreed, but he never asked her. Don't know why. Ben and Kira are both widowed. Kira had 2 kids from her late husband, but unfortunately they hate that their mum moved on. So there's currently no plans for them to move in together, as her kids are vehemently against it. The contact is very low. We see them once a year for Tom's birthday. Bea would know that she'd get support there, since she must know about their stance on our situation. Question asking if Opie is sleeping with both men separately, together, or living like a monk with 2 sperm donors. We are not couples, but we are family. I don't know how this is relevant, but I haven't had sex with Ben since knowing I was pregnant with his child. I'm not proud of having it in the first place, but we have a wonderful daughter from it. Tom has been with Bea for 3 years. We never cheated on respective partners with each other's. My perspective have never been the exclusive relationship/love of my life type. I've been semi-seriously seeing someone for the last year, but I'm not interested in taking it further or having him meet my kids. How does Opie see any of them being in a functional relationship and still maintaining this family dynamic? I understand that our situation isn't for everyone. We've made arrangements in case one of us wants to move out. Everyone is free to do that at any time. But so far, both Tom and Ben would have rather their respective partner move in than them moving away. I haven't been with anyone that I would have liked to even consider taking that step yet. Opie has voted not the a-hole. If Tom wanted Bea to be in contact with him, or his parents for that matter, he would have given it to her/them. Update after 1 year. Thanks everyone for the support. They all came home yesterday, but with 5 kids trying to update each other and the 3 on their respective weeks. It obviously took a while till Tom and I could talk. I had completely forgotten, but him and Bea dropped past his parents on their way to their holiday about a year ago, the one he was going to ask her to move in. According to Tom, they complained to him the same they always do, and he shouldn't have done it. But apparently Bea made a comment as they were leaving, which had him doubt her acceptance of our situation for the first time. It's why he didn't ask her to move in, as it was more a feeling he didn't want to worry us with it. He says he watched her interaction with all of us closely after that, but couldn't see anything suspicious. So after a couple of months, he was about to put it down to his imagination when he found out that Bea had kept in contact with his mum since their visit. That was about 6 months ago. They had a pretty big fight about it, and Bea promised to let it go. She begged him not to tell us so we wouldn't think less of her. He didn't, but their relationship never really recovered. It just kind of slowly deteriorated from there. So the night before the Sky trip, he was going to ask her for a break, but that's when she hit him with the news of her pregnancy. So he knew. She also said how he'd finally be able to have a real nuclear family. This led to another massive fight. He told her he'd need a paternity test, and if it was his, he would do right by the child, but that he wouldn't move away from us. Tom was shocked when I told him about Bea showing up here and the phone calls I've received. He apologized to me for not giving me a heads up, but I guess it's not something you see coming. He says he would have come home immediately if he had known. Apparently they were trying to reach Ben too, but Tom is slowly getting him to turn off his phone too, so he didn't see any of the messages till he got home. We checked the kids' phones after this just in case. They at least were left out of this mess. Tom's usually pretty calm, only way to survive 5 kids on a daily basis, but he was fuming. He wanted to confront Bea straight away before we kept speculating as to why she would try to bring all of us in on it. There's a lot more, but here's the essentials. Tom would be happier with a real family since he can't see that he needs to be pushed away by us, which is why Bea showed up and told me what Tom and her would do. She believed that I would take her word at face value as their common plans and get angry at Tom for not telling me about this and then kick him out, which would lead to him immediately moving in with her. Apparently it's Tom's mum who came up with a plan to finally free her son after I baby trapped him years ago. I'll still answer questions for a couple of hours and will then leave this. Don't even know if I should cry at the audacity or laugh because they believe this crazy could work. Relevant comments. Question if Tom will be getting his sperm count rechecked to rule him out as a father. He's likely to get it checked again for peace of mind. though definitely asking for a paternity test regardless of the results. But that's just one of the things that need to be dealt with right now. Tom's gonna go full no contact with his parents, which I know will hurt him once he stops being this furious at them. He has also asked Ben to take over communication with Bea for the time being, as he doesn't see himself not yelling at her. We have to explain to the kids that Bea isn't going to be around anymore. We're also considering changing their phone numbers to make sure she doesn't try to contact them. They don't deserve to be dragged into this crazy mess. We just have to figure out how to explain to them why we're doing it. She wasn't a second mother figure to them, but would be around at least once a week, so it's definitely a change for them too.